sick and miscarriage and blah, blah, blah. Walking miracle. I felt that I knew that my assignment was up there. So I needed a change of an atmosphere. Moving on to the next one. So I called one of my mentors who worked at another bank and I said, I need a change of atmosphere. It's time for me to go. And she said, I have the perfect position for you. She passed my information along to the recruiter, passed the phone screening. She passed my information to the hiring manager. She was at a Elephant Market and she was also Asian. So I heard about these type of interviews, never witnessed any before like this. So I went to the interview and I met with the hiring manager and she was telling me, you should work for us because we can give you a better pay, because we can give you a better incentive, because we give you all these perks. And she began to give me a whole list of things of why I should work for that company. It was like no other interview I have been on. She was basically convincing me to work for them. I didn't have to prove myself. I'm talking about God's favor.
Yes.
So I accepted the offer. So why there? 6 months after getting acclimated in the bank, trying to get to know everything and familiarize myself with their policies and procedures. I was there for 6 months. And my manager, she was on maternity leave, she left, she came back, and then she transferred to another office. Yes, I was sad, but she was only a phone call away. So then came a new district manager and another branch manager. And they heard about my reputation. I'm talking about God's favor.
Yes.
And the new manager wanted to recognize me. Now, I don't know why he wanted to recognize me. I didn't do anything yet. I only been there this is about 8 months now. So he called the upper management and they put in he put in a word for me. And next you know, I was at a top performance luncheon.
Amen.
At this luncheon, I still don't know why I was there because I still didn't do anything but God's favor.
Yes.
So me and my mentor, the one who helped brought me over to the bank, and we were walking to the tables to sit down, and every time we go to one table, they said, no, this seat is taken. Okay, all right. So we made it up to the front where the stage was, and there was an empty table. We sat down, and I started looking and had place cards reserved, and one name that I recognized on that table, and it was Michael Clary, the regional president.
Amen.
And I turned to my mentor, I said, Michael Clary's here. She's like, you want to move? I said, no, let's stay. Well, favorite people of God, 3 black women, 5 people sitting at the table. Michael Clary, his right-hand man, and 3 black women. Deciphering and discussing what could work well in your branch. What's going on in your branches? God's favor.
Yes.
That day I won a certificate and a plaque. Still
Amen.
don't know what I did. God's favor.
Amen.
Amen. Moving right along, that passed. Now I really need to focus on this audit, right? So this audit was a surprise audit. In this district, only one person passed with a strong. Everyone else got a satisfactory or they failed. So I'm like, my goal was to pass this audit with a strong. So after 8 months, my district manager came in and he saw me and he said, you always look business professional, very professional. You're always positive. You're always smiling. He was looking at God's glory.
Amen.
He said, I want you to represent this district.
Yes.
I'm going to invite you to a top performance breakfast. I said, oh, Lord. I said, I didn't do anything. Go to the top performance breakfast. Again, the only black female at the table, sitting with the boss at the table. God's favor.
Yes.
So, moving right along, I did nothing extra. God's favor. The audit came. I said, Lord, I better pass this audit. All these rewards that I have gotten in advance,
Amen.
I better pass this audit. And oh Lord, it was 2 days of unbelievable stress. Everything that went wrong, it went wrong.
Yes.
And I said, Lord, if I can pass this audit with the satisfactory, I'll be happy. My banker gave the auditor his keys. You know, that's a violation. The new teller that came to help us out, the auditor was counting his drawer. He ups and leaves his window while the auditor was counting his drawer. You can only imagine. I said, this is it. I'm fired. That's it. I'm fired. Well, the second day, I said, we need to get him out of here. Let me hurry and get the auditor all his stuff so he can get out of here. So I went to go to lunch, and the auditor came to me. He said, he's like, I'm going to have a meeting with you at 12 o'clock. He said, so don't get heartburn over your lunch. I said, ha, very funny. So I go upstairs and I get my food. It felt like dead man was walking. I said, oh my God. And the lady in the cafeteria said, whatever's wrong, sis, it's going to be all right. I said, you know what? And yes, it will. I get downstairs, favorite people of God, get off the elevator, walk inside the branch. Before I get into the door, I see my DE. You know, I was his favorite. I said, what is he doing here? I'm fired. I'm fired. Like, you're not supposed to show up when the auditor's here. So my manager met me at the door. He takes my food out of my hand, placed it on his side, and he hugs me. He said, we did it. We passed with a strong. Amen. I said, Jesus. And then I saw my other manager. I'm like, what is she doing here? She said, you did. And the district manager was like, I can kiss you right now. I love you. And I went upstairs, people of God, and I cried over my pizza. And I said, this was a miracle.
Amen.
A miracle. We should never pass with a strong with all those things that happened. And the auditor gave us feedback. He said, it's been a long time since I met someone that's phenomenal, doing a phenomenal job in operations and compliance. I'm talking about God's favorite.
Yes.
My assignment was up after I passed the audit. That was in June. 2 months later, guy had me going on to another assignment, which wound me up at the Philadelphia OIC.
Yes.
Never had an interview. Talking about God's favor, because the person that hired me was my mentor.
Amen.
The CEO at that time, he ran for Congress. He didn't win. But at that time, he never interviewed me, but someone passed him a word at the bank, one of my colleagues, and they told him,